Let me know
Facebook.
what it is.
Yeah, there we go. Facebook fucking it up. All right. Well, Clint, introduce us while I fix this.
Okay. Well, indeed we are here. Welcome to the Hamityville Horror. Thank you for visiting. I am Clint.
I am Don.
And we have with us our friend Nicole down here. She did just introduce herself.
She did.
And of course, we are joined here for a very special purpose. We wanted to sit here and talk for a bit. Took a long time to put together, but we finally did it. We got Mr. Brian Bremer here. How you doing, sir?
Good. Thank you for having me, guys. I'm so excited to be here. We've really worked hard to make this happen, haven't we, Don? I think my house got struck by lightning. You got sick. I got sick. Travel. Airport delays. But we did it. We made it, you guys.
We did it.
Oh,
we did it.
And
it's all
it
matters.
Was an amazing day.
I
am so excited.
And I have to say, I love you, Nicole. I love you, Mrs. Buntwallace.
I love you too.
You made my whole day at New Jersey Horror Con.
Yeah.
Made me blush. In the best possible way.
Well, speaking of New Jersey Horror Con, I'm very happy that I get to apologize in person for how intoxicated I was.
Whoa.
I have no memory of what I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, when I was hanging around your table, and then when we hung out with you a little bit after that at the bar, it was still cool to be there, even though I remember very little of it.
You thought I was Adrienne Barbeau.
Well,
that's not me.
Yeah, that makes sense. She is one of my favorites. Yeah.
She's one of my favorites too. She's going to be at Scarefest this year.
Oh my God! Well, that's Clint.
Oh Jesus! Try to keep us on track. Good luck.
We derail each other all the time.
Oh yeah. But I did want to start out of the gate by saying that Don and I did something really cool last Friday. We went down to Winchester, Virginia, and we saw the premiere of a movie that maybe you heard of. It's called Go Away.
I've been seeing posts
done by a production group called Slasher 15, which I know that you are currently doing a project with.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. Dave Carr has graciously allowed me to be in Slasher Nurse with Felissa and all kinds of people. And
Beverly Randolph's in it.
Yeah, man. It's a really great scene. It's going to be a really great movie. The Slasher Nurse is awesome and scary, and I get to have a lot of interaction with it. And it's a very cool role. I'm really excited about that. Yeah. He's a good filmmaker. He's a great guy. So I'm really excited to work with him.
Yeah, awesome. We're happy to say we've talked to him a few times, and I'd like to consider him a friend. At least a friend of the show.
It's a friendly community, isn't it, Clint? I mean, that's what I love most about our community is we love the movies, we love each other. Like it's such a friendly, wonderful, supportive group. Nicole, Mrs. Buntwallace.
Sorry, I took the names off because couldn't see my lovely face.
Oh, that's right.
I should probably put that shit back up right now.
Your lower thirds were blocking
because our viewership will probably drop like a rock. Like, look at that ugly son of a bitch.
Yeah. He's always very appreciative of his fans, and I know that you'll be bearing the names of one of his contributors, Mark Sedora. So it's really cool. Yeah.
Right.
He always does that. No, you're fine to say he always does that. He's always in a movie somewhere, shape, or form. He was an officer that was in Bloody Summer Camp. So his last name shows up everywhere. It's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, so before we do get obviously into your illustrious career,
completely drunk.
Sweet. This is his first one, guys. Don't let him fucking fool you.
This is my first one. I waited all day because I am actually on vacation. I had a crazy, wonderful first part of the year. I decided to take 2 weeks off, which is hard when you're in our business because things are always happening. But I'm forcing myself to just chill out and relax because the rest of the year is going to be fun and bonkers and crazy. So
yeah, because you got.
I waited all day sitting here at the beach.
Yes.
To have my first cocktail.
Hell yes, I'd already been.
That's amazing.
They've already had to bury my ass.
Self-control.
Yeah, no kidding. I have.
It was not easy.
No. So, you being a legend that you are,
oh Lord,
you've been doing this for obviously over 25 years.
Oh yeah, I've actually been in the entertainment industry. I figured this out. I started when I was 15. I've been in show business, working in some form or another. Oh, here we go. For 40 years.
What?
Yeah, 40 years. Yeah.
Okay.
I started professionally acting when I was 15. I'm primarily a voice actor now, but now I'm starting to do more films again, which is fun. And I do films once in a while, every couple of years, if I get the opportunity to audition. I don't turn that down. My dad always said, walk through every door that opens, says, And what's on the other side may be right for you. It may not, but you got to walk through that door. Don't let fear stop you. So I've ended up doing a couple of movies a year, but primarily voice acting, but all non-genre. And then I got the opportunity to meet my fans. I mean, and that's incredible. As a film actor, you never meet your audience. You meet on stage, you meet your audience, but you never meet them. And to see all these wonderful people and meet all these great new friends, it makes me want to do something for you guys, and so I'm happy to be kind of dipping my toe back into the on-camera world. But yes, anyway, 40 years. 40 years. Older than all of you.
Yeah. No offense to any of us three, but he looks better than all three of us. So
thank you.
Yes.
That's very sweet of you.
I
could be your grandfather. I mean, I could genetically, literally be your grandfather.
That would be amazing if some way, shape, or form that would happen.
I might be.
So what do you honestly think about? I'm fucked now. Now I'm going to get ancestry.com. I'll let you know. What do you think about the whole? What do you think about the indie circuit, Brian? I mean,
I love it. I mean, I absolutely. When I was in Los Angeles, when I started my career, my first film was Pumpkinhead. I had done some commercials before then, but that was my first film, and I was 20 when I did that film. All of those films at the time, Pumpkinhead, Society, Silent Night 5. I mean, those were indie. Pumpkinhead was a pretty decent budget for the time. I think it was like $3 million, but the others were, less than 500,000. Very limited budgets make you be very creative. I remember on Spontaneous Combustion with Toby Hooper, I remember his son Tony starting a barbecue in his backyard and getting a spit and rotating tinfoil with holes punched in it and shooting it. And that's the fire effects at the beginning of the movie. I mean, it's pioneer filmmaking. The lower money or whatever forces you to be very creative. And really, money doesn't have anything to do with creativity and good art and good filmmaking. I mean, it's all about ingenuity. So I absolutely love it. I've always said that the horror genre specifically is where you get such a wealth of creativity, because people are working with limited funds and limited time and all kinds of conditions. And, it's down and dirty filmmaking. So when it works, it's really prideful, for the actors and for the filmmakers too. So I love it. I absolutely love it. And going to the cons has been great because I get to meet all these filmmakers, and I've got 2 DVDs I need to watch, but I have to get a DVD player because I don't have a DVD or a Blu-ray player. Everything's streaming. But Jed Bryan, I've got one of his films. I've got one of John Devlin's films. I'm reading screenplays, and the creativity is off the charts. I mean, it's innovative. It's interesting. Yeah, I love it. Is the short answer to that long answer to that short.
That's what I want. We want the long answers. That's what we came here for. Just signed up for. So that's
mercy. You got it, don't you?
It's the way to do it. Eric says hello from Omaha.
Oh.
Hey, Eric.
So make sure we give a shout out. Obviously, one of our fans, one of our peoples, Slutty the Clown, aka Claire Bacon.
Awesome.
She's one of our regulars, top contributors, I guess we should say.
Hey there.
But yeah, I mean, so yeah, and you kind of hit the nail on the head with the creativity and the money and everything like that. Like you don't even need it. You just need an idea. And that's like
the money. Sometimes more money actually
is worse.
Well, it can make the production more difficult. I mean, I've worked on some pretty big budget stuff, mainly in the TV realm, but also some films. And sometimes it can have it all depends. It all depends on the director. It really does. But even a great director, sometimes when there's a lot of money involved, there's a lot of pressure from the studios. It's a more pressure-filled kind of situation. It's kind of that time is money kind of thing. But yeah. So more money is not necessarily a great thing. Oh, I have to say, I'm also working with these great guys. I have to shout out to these guys. I've got to remember their thing. Hold on one second here. Where it's it? Never mind. I'll come back to it later.
You do that on your own podcast.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I'll do that on my own podcast.
Were you going to mention Coffin Tooth? I thought I saw something on that.
Thank you. Yeah, Matt
Cloud.
Yeah. Really excited to work with him. I'm working with Subsoil Films too on developing a really cool movie called Revenge Fantasy, which is like a twisted psychotic Jim Baker meets Metallica.
I love that already.
It's cool. I mean, yeah, so there's some cool projects on the right. Anyway, I had to shout out to my boys. So
Yeah.
Please
Yeah, I'm
do.
really excited to work with Matt. I mean, another great scene and another really cool killer, for lack of a better word, really cool myth. Yeah. Anyway, that's all the plugs I have.
And your character has a really cool name, Moose Dixon.
Yeah.
You How awesome is that?
I'm kind of decided he's going to be Bunt Wallace, all grown up and like a grandpa. But I got to come to Matt.
Okay.
You know, I've always wanted to reprieve that character older. But my idea for Bunt was always that he would have left Appalachia. He'd be in New York as a lawyer somewhere, you know, because he was smart, curious, conniving. Didn't know what that $10 bill was that Ed Harley gave him, or $1 bill, whatever the fuck it was. Yeah. But still, you know, I always envisioned. So I'm toying with sort of paying tribute to that character with Matt, but I got to talk to Matt obviously and see what his idea is.
Oh yeah, because he's gonna have a problem with it. Okay, yeah. You can't do that, Brian. What the fuck are you talking?
It's his vision, baby.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
You know.
Well, speaking of Bunt Wallace, we gotta let Nicole talk a little bit. We don't want to we want to make sure she's not just eye candy, which she is.
Eye candy.
But we'll let her ask a question or talk to you how she wants to. So Nicole, floor is yours, my dear.
Oh, I am along for the ride. I am just happy to be here. I do want to call you out on something though.
Uh-oh.
You just said it, and you said it to me in Atlantic City. When you made Pumpkinhead, you were 20, 21 years old?
20.
You lie.
No, it was 35 years. This is the 35th anniversary. So, so I was 21. No, I was 20. You know how I remember that, Nicole? Because I'm a huge Star Wars fan, obviously. I saw it in 1977 when I was a kid. I saw it a million times in the theater. Excuse me. And I remember that Mark Hamill was 20 when he made Star Wars. So when I made Pumpkinhead and I was 20, I'm like, yeah, okay, good. This is a good sign. I'm 20, just like Mark Hamill was.
Hell yeah. That's what I want to. That's what I want.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I mean,
thought you had him there for a second, right?
Yeah,
I did.
I was gonna say she was. Now she's gonna leave. She's like, I was just waiting. I was just waiting to smoke it with that.
No, I was. I played high school aged kids and younger until I was about 27.
Wow.
And then at 27, 28, I started to get into that in-between phase that actors get into. You know, it's a photographic medium. So I didn't quite look young enough to play high school anymore, but I didn't look old enough to play like the dad, the doctor, the lawyer. And, you know, I tell actors that all the time because I teach a lot. And you go through phases where you won't work for a while. It even happens to celebrities, to big celebrities, you know, because it is a photographic medium and you have to fit the image, the photographic image of what this character looks like in this director's mind. Now I've come into the point, getting older, where I can play the psychiatrist, I can play the doctor, I can play the more authoritative roles. So now I'm seeing kind of that resurgence in my film career. But, you know, it comes in waves and you just got to, you know, when I kind of got in that in-between phase of on-camera casting, that's when I found voice acting. And quite frankly, guys, I am a professional voice actor. I fell in love with it. I hustle every day, audition every morning, absolutely love the medium of working on the microphone. And that's my main thing. But I found that when I was in that in-between phase and I wasn't really castable as the kid anymore, but I really wasn't old enough to play anybody's dad, you know? Well, if it was a crack movie, and never mind. Moving on.
Oh boy.
I was a little interested how you had entered into voice acting aspect of things, and you just answered that perfectly. I appreciate that. Yeah. So you're in Atlanta most of the time, and
That's
you're with the Atlanta voiceover studio. And you teach people. Do you coach?
I do. I'm not private coaching right now just because of time, but I usually do private coach. And every month, once a month, I teach an intro to voiceover workshop, which I started with Mike and Heidi, who own the studio. They're professional voice actors and incredible, wonderful people. And Atlanta Voiceover Studio is an amazing resource for voice actors because they don't teach that to us at school. You don't learn that in art school or in theater school. And I don't know why, because it's a huge business and there's so much opportunity. But I teach intro to voiceover once a month, and we talk about the business of voiceover because it's different from on camera. And we talk about kind of the technique of acting on a microphone when there's nobody else there. There's no costumes, there's no props, there's no other actors. Like when I did the Walking Dead video game, you know, I had scenes where I had to cry my character feels and is emotionally, and I'm doing it in a vacuum with no one there. So there's a way, because the other actors' schedules, sometimes they were recorded already, sometimes they weren't. Sometimes the director would feed me the lines, sometimes he was eating a sandwich. So you have to just like create the whole environment with your imagination. So I teach that, and and help people kind of get into that business that are interested in getting into that business.
Yeah. No, I was going to mention you did the voice of Nick in the Walking Dead video game, and you mentioned having to basically produce emotions on the spot with no stimulus whatsoever other than your own imagination. I mean, is there like a real emotional place that you draw from to do things like that, or?
As I get older, for sure, as you get older, you do. Oh boy, not to be a downer, but you lose people, you experience grief, you experience depression, you experience loss, like you experience joy and wonder and happiness and all the colors of life as you get older. So I do have more places to draw on. For me, a lot of it depends on the writing. The writing is everything. God bless the writers and the writers' strike, and hopefully to God there will be a good ending to this soon, and it's necessary. But if the writing is there and the writing is good, for me, it's easier. It's easier than having to, fabricate an emotion or which you can do. I mean, and of course that's an imaginary situation. I'm not 6 foot tall with black hair and a baseball cap, but, and I don't have a Southern accent, but I can. Yeah, well, I know. Funny thing is, usually when I do an animated series or something, I either get the animation or I draw the character out. And with the Walking Dead game, they wouldn't release any of the artwork. It was highly confidential. So for the audition, I sketched him. I sketched Nick out. And I swear to God, I wish I had this at home. He is tall and lanky with dark hair, wearing a baseball cap, which is exactly what the character looked like. So it was kind of that meant to be, kind of situation. But with that script particularly, that scene's about his mother dying. And I didn't even get or read the script until I was in the hotel room near San Francisco the night before we actually recorded it. And I read through all my scenes and I read through the whole script, and I came to that scene where he talks about his mother dying, and he feels guilty because he left the screen door open and a zombie came in and ate her in the kitchen. Hi, Mama. But anyway, I read it. I started reading it, Clint, and then I stopped reading it because I saw the words. And I went, oh, okay, I know this. I know where this lives. And I put it away. And I didn't even look at it again. And we got this, and you never learn your lines in voiceover because it's done for time and the lines always change. So you're always working with paper. Oh. And I remember getting there and the director goes, okay, now, Julian was his name. He goes, now we're going to do that scene first, and we'll do it as many times as you want. So, we'll just take your time and get there. I'm like, I'm good, man. I'm good. Got it on the first take. And he goes, I mean, tears, and you hear it, and you have to hear it because you can't see it. So the emotion has to be in the voice. And it was there.
I have a newfound respect for you now. Like
thanks.
I already respected the shit out of you, but now even more so because I've done a little bit of voice acting. I know a lot of voice actors personally.
Oh, right on.
I'm big into anime, so I know a lot of the ones that do the dubs, the English dubs, and everything. So yeah, everything you've literally just said, it's part of the game. And trying to read, especially when you do anime, you got to read flaps that come over, from Japan.
And those Japanese flaps are dangerous, man. You got to watch out for those.
But you got to watch the lips and everything. And I know exactly what you're talking about. Like I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh,
that's
cool, man.
So fucking amazing. Cool.
I'm glad, man. Thank you. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it's a whole different ball game.
It's a different ball game.
And you did great. You did great in the game, and everybody that did voices there, Melissa Hutchison with Clementine, she did phenomenal. It's a great game, and Michael Madsen actually does a voice in it too.
Yeah,
which is even
and people still play it. I mean, we just had our 10th anniversary, and we did an event for the 10th anniversary of it, and millions of people have found the game and love the game. I mean, it's probably the most high-profile voice acting job I did. This is the thing about voice acting. It's super anonymous, which I like. And I can record naked if I want to, and nobody knows, which is lovely.
Yep.
But that was a pretty high-profile job. I was also the voice of Mr. Peanut for about 2 years, and I've done voice acting for 25 years now. 22 years, I'm sorry. And that's the first job. in my entire career that my dad actually got excited about. He's like,
That's
"Hey,
cool.
That's crazy, man. Oh my God." He was telling all his friends and everything. Because usually like, you're not going to know. Like you hear a Bank of America commercial and I'm the dad, a Bank of America commercial and I'm the dad, saying, "Come on, kids, let's go." You don't know, it's very anonymous. So it's nice to have something under my belt that people enjoy and recognize and have that same kind of connection to that they do with the movies,
And it's hard to do it. Like you said, you're doing it by yourself. And
Oh yeah.
you have to trigger that, emotion because there's nothing there, the sounds and everything.
And you
it's
have to
insane.
hear it. Like I
Yep.
said, Don, I can't just sit here and cry and you just see it and you feel what I'm feeling because you don't see any eyes. It's, yeah,
Right.
it's challenging. It's really fun. And I really do love it. And that's what keeps me doing it. And I'll tell you, when you do creative things, you have to do it because you love it. You can't do it for money because that comes and goes. You can't.
We've heard that numerous times.
You got to love it, man, because there's a lot of rejection. There's a lot of auditioning. I probably audition, I don't know, 200 times a month to book, 2 to 4 jobs, which is great, but it's a numbers game. And the only thing that keeps you going in any kind of acting or art or visual arts is absolutely your love of it. And that has to be first. And that's what keeps me going.
Ooh, Ryan, that's a good one. Is it trickier doing something like Telltale's The Walking Dead where the dialogue is varied and different scenes play out in different ways? Or did you find it similar to other VO work?
Oh, that's a great question, man. Hey,
so.
Ryan. Good to see you, man.
He's one of our norms as well. He's our Canadian boy Ryan is what we call him.
I will see you in Montreal in September, and I can't wait, buddy.
Boom, boom.
It was different from every voiceover job I've ever done. Even the animated, I've done a couple of animated series, just little things that really, but it was different from animated series, which are more character and dialogue. Video game recording, especially a consequential game like the Walking Dead video game, where you hear dialogue, you make a choice, and it changes the game, right? So you open a door, you hear this conversation, and then you make these choices, and it takes the game in a completely different direction. Hey, buddy. So it's kind of schizophrenic because you're recording all kinds of like alternate endings, different dialogue. In my season, you could have killed Nick, I think like 2 or 3 times. But if you didn't and you let him live, I mean, eventually, I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't played it, but
everybody play it. It's an amazing game.
Yeah, it's a good game. Anyway, it doesn't turn out so well for Nick, but if you do play it, just please let me live. Just let me live because I have some great scenes where I cry, and you need to hear those scenes where I cry.
If that was his voice too, you did which
it was close.
It's close.
Like, he was kind of down here.
So obviously, but doing that and Valerie Justice, totally different scenes. I would imagine totally different characters. Correct?
Yeah, totally, absolutely. Did you say Valerie Justice?
I did.
What the fuck?
I told you. See this. He was ill prepared. I warned him. We do our research.
Well, damn, man, that's crazy. That was actually my very first big voiceover job. I was the voice of Time Warner Cable, which I think now is Spectrum Mobile or something. Like everything's merged and changed. I did their national campaign for 8-9 years, something like that. It's hired and fired, 3 times over the course of that 9 years, but it always came back to me until it didn't. But it was a great job. And one of the copywriters on that, Phil Gable, lives in New York City, and he was producing this kind of spec animated series called Valerie Justice about like a Nancy Grace kind of crazy lawyer. And I had a sketch comedy theater at the time, and he knew me because he'd been working with me for Time Warner Cable. And he knew I was a character actor and did different voices and things, different characters. Let's not call them voices. They are characters. It's not about voices. It's about the character. And he paid me and a couple of other members of my sketch comedy troupe to come and voice his animated series. It was like, he paid us like $50. And that was so much fun. I think I did like 7 or 8 characters on that show. And Misty Holcomb was Nancy Grace, the Nancy Grace character, and she's hilarious. How did you know about that? How did you find that?
Come on, man. If I'm gonna have you on a podcast, I gotta have something that nobody else asked about. I gotta have that.
Well, no one has ever asked about Nancy Grace. I mean Valerie Justice.
See?
Yeah, that's great, man.
See? Like I said, man, we gotta keep it real, gotta keep it new. So, but I don't think, and nobody's gonna argue this. Nothing you've done. It's been nothing short of amazing. I mean, you just have even you know, we have to bring it up, Clint. What was the short that we watched on YouTube? Literally an hour ago.
The drunks.
No,
It was-
the other one that was
Oh,
amazing.
the other one. Okay. The productive lie.
He's like, what
Oh
the fuck
my
is that?
God.
Do you remember?
I do.
He's like, you guys are a horror podcast. Why the fuck are we talking
What
about
in the
this?
world? The productive lie. Yeah. Do
Yeah.
you know? I've never seen that.
You haven't? Oh, it's
No.
on YouTube. I could send it to you.
I'm about to bust. I'm
Yeah,
about
send
to
it to
bust to
me.
share the screen.
Clint, yeah, you got to send it to me. I mean, that was a great shoot, and it's so funny. I've never seen that.
Oh, for
Awesome.
sure. Yeah.
I don't-
Yeah.
Oh my
I'm not
God,
gonna
I
forget
forgot all
about
about
that. I'm gonna go ahead and
Yep.
do that right now. If you guys haven't
Oh,
checked it out,
Don's gonna send it to you.
Oh no, guys! I don't really. If you're gonna do that, I'm gonna go get another drink, and I'm not.
Do
appreciating it.
do it.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay, I'll be right back.
We'll give
All
you a
right.
5-minute reprieve.
Just a second. It's right over here.
Right over there.
I love it. I knew he was gonna be awesome.
So, yeah. So for anybody who hasn't seen it, let's see. Brian is attempting to take a lesson from a few black guys that he works with on how to walk more manly, and this devolves into him teaching them how to celebrate and dance like they do in the neighborhood.
Oh,
And,
listen.
Oh,
You
Gabriel.
cannot.
Wow.
That was actually
Well.
a great scene. I remember that. We shot
was
in the
wonderful.
garage. Yeah, because I was like a gay guy that worked at a mechanic's garage. I was a gay
Right.
mechanic.
It
No,
was great.
that's fresh. That was produced by my friend Maria Howell. Maria Howell is an incredible singer and actor. If you IMDb her or look her up, Maria Howell, she's a phenomenal, and she produced that. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Well, I sent it to you in Facebook if you want to watch it.
Check it
By
out.
Thank you.
all means. 'Cause
I
it
mean,
was
thank
incredible.
you.
Yeah,
Hey,
Don-
Eric. That's Eric. Hey, Eric's here from Omaha. Hey, buddy.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Eric?
Good to see you, man. Is Eric like a regular listener for you guys? He's a good friend of mine.
He probably is. I have to go back and look. We could try to keep track of who we have, but
I got to tell you, people have always approached me about Pumpkinhead and Silent Night 5. Like over the years, people have sent me stuff and people will find me or whatever. But it's only in the last couple of years that I started doing appearances because I honestly didn't know that I just had no idea. I mean, it's so humbling in the best possible way. I'm on my second drink now, so I'll probably cry.
sweet.
So don't judge me.
Nobody
But-
judging you.
But Eric actually reached out to me. He's got every year he does a Pumpkinhead party around for his like Halloween party, and he actually reached out to me. A couple of years ago now, Eric, and asked me if I would kind of zoom in and watch the movie with them, and I did, and we had so much fun. And I think we did it last year too. It's all a blur, but that was the first time I kind of started getting out there, really, and really knowing that there were people out there who loved the movie and really were interested in talking about it. And he's got a whole group of people that get together and they do this dance and this song and they watch the movie. They make special food. He's a great guy. And one of these days, oh, good. Well, follow these guys, Eric, because they're fantastic. One of these days I'll get there in person for the party. So we're hoping anyway. Hoping.
That'd be awesome.
That would be. That would be.
Thanks for tuning in, Eric.
Yep. And then they'll change it up on you. They'll know you're coming and they'll set it up like the shunting.
Yeah, the
Oh,
shunting.
Jesus. I don't know if Eric's ever seen that one.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
That was. We weren't getting out here without mentioning that
Mm,
crazy shit.
yeah, I figured.
But we're
That's
trying
been
to-
interesting because I had no idea. And the first promoter that asked me to start doing the show is Peter Valderrama with Silver Screen. He approached
yeah.
me. Yeah,
Peter.
he approached me because of Society, and I'm like, are you kidding me? But Joe Bob Briggs showed it on Shudder, and it found life. And that's the crazy thing, is that it's really streaming and all these platforms where everything's available now. Like people are rediscovering that 80s horror, and Society is specifically dear to my heart. I mean, it was a great experience. I love Brian Yuzna. He's still the greatest guy.
We had him on the show,
Oh, no way.
and he was fantastic to talk to.
I bet. It'd be interesting to see him. It's funny when you see these guys after a long time. It's like at Scarefest last year, I saw Lance because Lance Henriksen was there. And he walks in, and we sat right next to each other, and he goes, "Hey, Brian, Hey, Bun. I'm like, hey, Mr. Harley. And it was, honest, guys, it was like no time had passed. Like we immediately fell into the same dynamic that we had on set because it was those are such bonding experiences. And it was like no time had passed. And at one point he says to me, you're still that same wonderful little kid. And I said, well, you're still that same wonderful man. I mean, he hasn't changed at all. You know, we get older, but we haven't fundamentally changed at all. And what a great spirit he is.
He's phenomenal. We had the pleasure of meeting him at, what was it, Monster Mania?
Monster Mania, New Jersey.
Cool. Yeah, I gotta get out there. I really want to go there.
He was super cool.
It was awesome.
He took a break from his line, and I guess he wasn't feeling that great, wanted to be outside. He just sat down in the grass right next to the line of people and just started chit-chatting with his fans. It was amazing to see.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah.
We took a break outside at Scarefest, and we're standing out back, like just getting some air, and you got to like just take a break once in a while. And he goes, can't believe all these people are here to see me. I can't. He said, you see my line? My line's out the door. I can't believe it. I'm like, Lance, you're Lance Hendrickson.
Right?
But you know, it's funny because again, you don't see your audience. That's why these horror conventions are so wonderful, is you get to meet the people that are enjoying your work and that have really personal connections growing up, watching the movies and things like that. And I mean, that's what it's all about. It is all about that. I don't care if I have 2 people come to my table or 200. I mean, this has been such a rewarding and life-changing experience for me at this point in my career and my life to have these movies that I did so long ago. You know, one podcaster asked me, like, how does it feel like to be recognized for something you did 30 years ago? I'm like, it's fucking great. It's amazing. I mean, as an actor, to be recognized for anything and then to have your work impact people. I mean, I had a guy at FrankenCon come up to me, this sweet guy, Gary, who it was the first movie he ever watched with his dad. And his dad had passed away recently, and it meant so much to him to be able to talk about that experience. And I had to leave the table. There's so many times if I'm ever not at my table, I'm probably out back having to compose myself because it's just that's what it's all about. And Felicity and I were talking about that too. It's all about the moments. I mean that's why I do it. It's why I want to do it. And again, it all comes down, like I said earlier, everything you do, you have to do it for the right reason. And you have to really know why you're doing it. You know, like my partner at one point said, well, this is kind of an ego thing for you, you know, don't exhaust yourself. I'm like, it is. It definitely feeds the ego, you know, and it's humbling. And it's just like, you know, it's unbelievable. And the adrenaline is really, really high. But I had to really think about, like you do with everything, like, well, why do I like this? And there is no doubt. It's those moments meeting you guys and hanging out at the bar and Nicole making me blush. Hearing the stories about the movies and when you saw them. And I mean, people get nervous. A lot of people were really nervous at this last show. And it's so funny. They're so nervous to come up and meet me. And I'm like, you have no idea what it means to us. Like, you have no idea what this means to me. So you have nothing to be nervous about. I mean, it probably means more to me than it does to you. Honestly.
Oh, I was shaking walking up to your table. And I was crying walking away.
Oh,
I don't know if you saw that.
Sweetheart.
See, it's a give take there. You know, we you know, as fans, it's one thing to see you in a movie and to be able to say, hey, hey, that was the person that was in this, that, and the other. But when we can go back and watch a movie, and especially something that's coming out, you know, like Slasher Nurse, and be like, yeah, he's been on our show. We've met him. We've talked to him.
Well, I will do my best to honor you guys and give you a great performance that is fun and that you enjoy. I will do my very best for you.
That's not, it's you can do nothing less because you're amazing. So shut your face. You know you're good. You know you're good.
Well, yeah, I focus on the work when I'm working. That's for sure. That's one thing Lance said to me. Oh, you know, when I booked Pumpkinhead, it was my first movie. And I was with the Gage Group in Los Angeles. And there was a young agent there. He may still be there. I hope he's not listening. But he brought me into his office and he said, well, it's a horror movie, kid. Everybody's got to do one. You know, you got to do one. You got to get it. You got to do it. I'm like, okay, you know. But I never thought of it as, oh, it's just a horror movie. You know, I read the script and I did my work as an actor. And Lance has said, whatever work you do. I love doing Lance's voice, by the way. Whatever work you do, you have to honor the work. You know, You don't think about the budget. You don't think about the next thing that you're doing. You stay there in that moment and you honor that work and do your job. And that's really what I love about acting, is doing the job. I mean, you know, so anyway, yeah, I'll try to go do a good job in Slasher Nurse and in Coffin Tooth. I love it. Pumpkinhead, Coffin Tooth. It's like we're going to get all the anatomy. Squash Dick is next.
Oh, yes.
I can't wait.
Oh boy.
I can't wait. And that one might have boobies in it, but they will be put in after the fact.
Yes, exactly.
I will not do a movie. Never mind.
Damn it. No, he'll do it.
Never
He'll do a movie called Squash Dick, but no boobies.
Oh, well, you know, actually, that would be a different kind of movie.
There you go. See, that's where I was going. Like, well,
You got to draw the line somewhere.
where are we going here? Exactly.
Yeah.
The line in the sand has got to be going somewhere.
You guys know Buck Flower,
Mhm.
Oh God.
right? My grandpa in Pumpkinhead and John Carpenter movies, and just like Buck did everything. He was a great character actor,
Yeah.
sweet man. He had his own production company, and when we were making Pumpkinhead, he's like, "Yeah, I want to put you in a movie sometime. You know, you ought to call me up. I'll put you in one of my movies." I'm like, "Oh, you know, great." And the young actor goes, you know, it's all on the up and up. You might have to take your pants off and jump in a swimming pool, but you know, just bare your butt. He said, you might have to bare your butt and jump in a swimming pool, but nothing more than that. And I remember I was like, okay, man. Thanks, Grandpa. Anyway, and I didn't really know who he was at the time because I was so young. I mean, I knew his face, and I knew a lot more after the fact than when things were going on. Like I had I mean, of course I knew Toby Hooper, and I knew who Stan Winston was, of course, but I was young and naive, and I didn't understand the privilege of being able to work with Stan Winston, Toby Hooper, Brian Yuzna. On Silent Night 5, really, Brian was pulling the strings. David DeCarteau on Test Tube Teens. I mean, they're really brilliant directors, all come from different places, but anyway, I had no idea at the time. So when Buck told me to bare my butt and jump in a swimming pool, I was like, well, I'll call you. And I never did.
You never
I
did,
probably should have. Well, you guys might have seen it if I'd done it.
I don't know. It may have been so scandalous it could have kept you away from that Mr. Peanut voiceover job that you had.
That's
You know?
true.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've got to go clean that stuff up. That is not my fault.
I had this grand idea. I was going to have a jar of Planters peanuts here, but that never happened. Although, I wish we could have had Ryan on here because I'd love for him to tell you his Mr. Peanut story. So if you do see him up in Canada, ask him to tell you that story.
Okay.
Because,
Well, I will see him up in
I'm
Canada.
pretty sure all I have to do is send him a message.
I couldn't tell if he was traumatized by the experience, like he's afraid of Mr. Peanut now, or if it was just, or if he's angry at him for making him feel foolish. But one or the other.
Dear. That's complicated.
It's a fun time.
Yeah, that's a lot of.
There's a site called BetterHelp, Ryan. BetterHelp.com. Maybe
Yeah.
talk to somebody about your Mr. Peanut thing.
Yeah. And now he'll be upset that I brought it up.
Oh, don't be upset.
Because I'm messaging him right now.
He's like, thanks for
that's funny.
airing out on my laundry on your show.
Well,
That's what we do here.
They're in the dirty laundry.
That's right.
No, we were talking about Test Tube Teens earlier, and if you've seen Test Tube Teens for the year 2000, I want you all to understand that when we made that movie, it was a very harmless teen romp comedy, and then Paramount decided after we made it that it had to have boobies. That there must be that it was the same. They were making a lot of movies at the time for Skinemax.
Yep.
Remember how Cinemax would show those late night movies that were kind of softcore?
Yeah.
So at post-production, we're all wrapped and gone home. Me, Morgan, Fairchild, Chris Wolf, we're all gone, far away from the production. And they cut in these scenes of these girls in showers, and there it is. And now apparently if you go to IMDb, it's the first thing that comes up are boobies, which, listen, I don't understand how they get away with that because it's full on. Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with breasts. There's nothing wrong with breasts. If men
Hold on, I
can
want to
watch
use Clint. Who
public
said
movies,
this?
I've never-
That channel got them through puberty. Well, there's,
That's Abby.
Okay.
That's
Who?
Abby.
Abby.
You met
Hey,
Abby,
Abby.
too, I'm sure.
Hey, look, you know what got me through puberty? Scrambled pay-per-view porn.
Oh,
Okay.
listen.
That's
Oh,
what got
okay.
every once in a while you hear a moan, you see a titty, it's like, yes, we're good. And then mom's like, what are you doing?
Where is
Like-
this going?
Like, oh shit, I don't know. I would
My
just tell a
parents
story.
Well, it's a good story.
I thought we were telling stories about.
We're telling stories. You're right. You're
Okay.
right.
We were telling
I think
stories
what
about
got me through
boobies.
my parents had VHSs of
Oh
adult
boy.
porn, and they were hidden behind like the Disney movies and stuff like that. But I would find them. And
Yeah.
I remember Lady Chatterley's Lover, which is
My
about
dad
a
put the
soft
porn
boy.
movies into Disney cases, and we actually watched one Friday night. And
Oh no!
yeah, my mom and her best friend are sitting at the kitchen table,
Oh,
and we're
geez.
like, "This is not the Lion King, or at least it's not the version I know."
Or is it?
Now, I was like, "Holy shit! What is
Ooh,
happening?"
Cinderella with an S.
it's the
Yeah.
country
Yes,
bear
exactly.
jamboree.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Cinderella with an S, exactly.
Yep.
Nicole.
Ah, Cinderella.
I was like, "What just happened?" Like, mom's like, "Hold on, eject." I'm like, "Fuck." Like,
Eject.
my dad was up in the
Eject.
garage, and needless to say, he got an earful when he came back down.
Not bad.
Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, you put the movie in the case, like you said, it's one thing.
I mean,
You put it behind him. He put it in the
in the
case.
Well, that's how. Sorry, y'all. That's how somebody saw Pumpkinhead for the first time. Their parents had all their horror movies on the top shelf, and this was the same kid who watched it with his dad. And they had accidentally put Pumpkinhead down where all the Disney movies were and all the kids' movies. And he was 6 years old, and he picked it up and said, "I want to see this." And he watched it with his dad. So parents, be careful. Be careful where you put your
Mhm.
DVDs.
My dad,
Yeah.
God, Total Recall, I'll never forget it. That's my mom went to Hawaii with her mom, and he was like, "We're gonna watch Total Recall." I was like, "Fine." And then we got to the three titty bitch, and he was like, "Put your head in the chair." I'm like, "But I've seen put your head in the chair." Damn, dude, mom ain't even home.
Put your head in the chair.
Like,
Oh
mom's
my
not
God.
even here. Well, I can't look at. It's not even real. Like, nobody's gonna have three titties. Last time I checked. Nope. Put your head
I
in the
do.
chair.
Listen, there is nothing wrong with the female form or with bosoms. And I'm always amazed that men can walk around in skimpy little mankinis and women have to like completely cover up. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Everybody should move to France.
Yeah.
But I got to get the boobies off my IMDb page. The boobies.
gotta do
I
that.
got to get the boobies. That's French for boobies. I got to
Yeah.
get the boobies off my IMDb
IMDb.
page. Jesus Christ. I'm a teacher.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
gotta do something.
Yeah. You have
I don't
an
know how
image
to
to
get
uphold.
Yeah, you got an image to uphold. Clint, spontaneous combustion. Didn't you want to bring something up with spontaneous
Oh
combustion?
boy.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Spontaneous combustion was really cool. And I think it was how the hell did you get hooked up with Toby Hooper? I mean,
Auditioned. I mean, honestly, every film I was hustling. I still am a working actor. I hustle every day, but back then I was really hustling in LA and going to school at the same time. And I had an audition. In that audition, I can't remember what the audition scene was, but I had an audition. I booked the job. That's it. I mean, it was just I had an agent. I was being sent out on auditions, and I met Toby. I fell in love with Toby. It's funny. I got to work with him briefly. I think I worked about maybe 2 weeks on the film, and it was great because Brad Dourif took me into his trailer, and I remember he was really sweet. Because I played his dad, and
Right.
he took me. Oh, Fiona's going to be at Scarefest. I'd love to meet her because she looks so much like Brad. But Brad took me into his trailer, and I remember he had a refrigerator full of pressed fruit juices. And we just sat and kind of talked for like 15 minutes. And I'm like, well, okay, Billy Bud, bye, Billy boy. I mean, it was just amazing. But Toby and I actually became friends. My friend Stan Gisa, who's written a book about spontaneous combustion, was on set with his friend Eric, who was the still photographer. That's the one. You
What?
got it. Oh, a plug for Stan's book.
yeah, that's got my name on it now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. He writes in that book about a scene that I do. I had to kind of call him out on that, but anyway. But when was it? Oh, Stan was good friends with Tony, who is Toby's son. And that's kind of how I got to really know them. We were over visiting Tony in Toby's house in Bel Air and went for dinner one night, and he had us over for dinner. And I remember we talked a lot in his kitchen. He was just the nicest, sweetest, most down-to-earth guy, kind of talked like this and kind of, mumbled a lot. And after dinner, he said, "You guys want to watch my new movie?" And we're like, "Yeah, sure." And so we went into his living room, and he pressed a button on this big leather armchair, and a big screen came down over the fireplace out of nowhere, like out of the ceiling. And we watched the rough cut of his Marquis de Sade movie with Robert Englund. Do you guys know this movie? It's gone by a lot of different titles, and I don't think it ever got like a wide release, but it's
The name that I've looked up was Night Terrors.
That's it.
That's
Yeah.
It's one I know.
That's
about.
it. And we watched the rough cut, and it was the rough cut. It's if you've ever watched a rough cut, hello, darling. If you've ever watched a rough cut of a movie, it's so amazing the process that it goes through to get to the finished project. And you have to know how to watch a rough cut, because when you first watch it, you're like, holy shit, what is this awful stuff? Because the edits are rough and chopped, and there's no music. It's not colorized yet. But we watched the rough cut of Night Terrors. And I remember after it, Toby going, well, what did you think? What do you think? He didn't have a Southern accent. What do you think of the movie? And we're like, it's great. I mean, it was really cool, because we're watching that movie while it's still in the creative process. So it is literally his first or second cut. It's his rough cut. So he wants our input and our opinion, and I think Tony, his son, was like giving him creative critique. I was just like, it's great, Mr. Hooper. But he was really sweet, and we stayed in touch for a little while,
Yeah,
that's everything he's done. I mean, it's in some way, shape, or form, it's really lasted.
He's a great filmmaker. He has such a distinct style. Listen, he's like Stanley Kubrick. When you watch a movie that's a Tobe Hooper movie, the camera moves, the angles, the color, the way he covers scenes, it's all to create that full and total emotional picture that he creates as an artist. And he's got his style. That's why when I watch Poltergeist, I know a lot of people talk about whose movie is that. It's Toby's movie, 100%. I mean, watch Spontaneous Combustion and then watch Poltergeist, and you'll see the style, his style,
And Brian's not in it, but at some point, watch Life Force 2.
Oh yeah,
you'll get that same vibe.
Totally, yeah. He has a vibe. That's a good way to say it.
Yeah,
he's got a real. He's got a good.
Yeah, it's just you can tell, like you said, it's it's got his stamp,
his voice. Yeah.
Well, I did enjoy Spontaneous Combustion, even though at one point you spontaneously combusted, which was a little disappointing for me, but that's all right.
I'm glad you saw it. It's kind of the unfindable Tobe Hooper movie. Did I give you my copy? Is that how you saw it?
No.
You gave me
believe it or not, I found it on a streaming service.
You did.
Yeah, I think Tubi had it.
Okay.
When I was looking, so strangely enough, it wasn't hard to find. So
everybody go to Tubi. Okay, good. Yeah.
Tubi is the unfound hero of indie horror.
Yeah, tell you what was
horror
hard
in
to find.
General, forgotten horror. Let's go with that.
It's true.
Tell you what was hard to find. A movie that you did around 2003.
Oh shit! Here we go. I knew this
Vicious?
was coming. Vicious.
With Mr. Tom Savini.
Yes.
Yep. I did find it on YouTube.
Yes.
I don't know if that was the final cut of the film or not. I guess it was. I did enjoy the premise of the movie, and I always enjoy Tom when he's on screen being a mercenary or whatever.
Very fun to work with.
I was a little put off by the special effects of the monster. The creature was a.
Yes, I saw it a long time ago. But it's been a long time. And I actually had someone at FrankenCon recently just say the same thing. Yeah. That the CGI is like weird and wonky and yeah. But thank you for finding the positive.
No, it was awesome.
Great, and it was a really fun experience. We all got chiggers because we were out in the Georgia woods.
Oh, that's worth it.
The night. It's the first time I've ever gotten chiggers. I had gallons of nail polish I had to put on my body to get them out. But it was my favorite part of that movie is the end.
Yes.
When we're in the van and the van is submerged and we're in the water, I was like, "This is cool, man."
That was really cool.
And that was great.
Tom Savini's tricked out van trying to escape the creature. Yeah, that was really awesome. Yeah.
I mean, again, I've gotten to work with some amazing people.
And you have definitely.
It just blows my mind. Tom was funny because I think he'd just been on The Simpsons. And so he was talking a lot about The Simpsons.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good conversation to have.
Yeah, it was fun. He's a good guy. He's going to be at Scarefest too, I think.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if he'll remember me, but you know what? It's funny what people remember. Like I remember everything about the movies. My memory as I get older is hit or miss, right? But I remember so much very clearly about the movies. And I was at New Jersey and Clint Howard came up to me. He's like, "Oh, we were in a movie together." I'm like, Yes, we were, Mr. Howard. Like, he remembered, even though we had one scene in Silent Night 5, and we did not work together. Like, he saw my poster and he goes, "Oh, we're in this movie again. Oh, you're the killer." And it was just amazing. Talk about another really amazing human being.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Clint.
love Clint Howard. I got to meet him one time last year at Carolina Fear Fest.
Oh, cool. Oh, I
yeah.
hope to go to that this next year. We're working on that too. I really want to go there because I'm from North Carolina.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
you need to do that.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to.
It's
It's funny. Like, if the promoters know the movies, like, they get really excited. Some of them do, some of them don't. And, like Felissa and I were talking, you got to just kind of stay top of mind. And I'll tell you what really helps with the convention appearances is you guys. I mean, it's the fans saying, not that you're friends, and most of my fans are friends. But I mean, it's you guys saying, "Oh, we want to see Tom Savini, we want to see Brian Bremer." That really goes a long way. Like Felissa said, she is the queen of the cons, and she's like, it's about staying top of mind, doing it for the right reason, doing the shows you want to do. Anyway, yeah, Carolina Fear Fest. I want to do that next year for sure.
Do it.
Yeah. Speaking of Felissa, I don't know how she finds the time for
I don't
all the
know.
things that she goes to.
I don't know how she manages it.
Is she ever home? Does she sleep? I'm not sure. She might be a vampire.
But it's crazy. Yeah. I mean, her energy is incredible. She is the walking embodiment of joy. And she actually taught me how to do the conventions. My very first show was a little tiny show that Sean puts up called Tampa Bay Screams. It's the first time I'd done a show. It was about a year ago because I'm only on like my 6th or 7th show. And I was a nervous wreck, but I got to sit next to Felissa. And we have a mutual friend in common, Hannah Fearman, who I know really well. And Felissa has worked with Hannah, right?
We'll follow.
So before the doors open, I turned to her and I introduced myself to her for the first time. I'm like, "Hey, we have a mutual friend, Hannah." "Oh, I love Hannah. She's one, And then about 2 minutes before the door opened, I turned to her and I was white as a ghost. And I went, "I am so nervous." And she goes, "Honey, we're only here for one reason, to give joy and receive it in return." I went, "Okay, I can do that." And I love that. I want that, right? And it set the tone for my respect for the fans and it gave me the right reason to be there. And when you're doing something for the right reason, you can be nervous, but you don't have to be afraid. Anyway, so she's the love of my life. I love her. And I love it when we get to do shows together. And, did you go to karaoke at New Jersey, Clint?
I didn't. I wish that I could have. I was so damn tired. A bunch of us ended up in a room watching Cocaine Bear. So it.
I mean, it's not like that wasn't a bad.
Did that instead of going to karaoke? I wanted to go.
That's a great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that the one? Was that the one I had COVID at, Clint? Was that the one I left early?
Yeah.
I was sick as shit that one.
You gotta be careful. Well, Clint sang at karaoke. He and his wife sang "I Got You, Babe," and Felissa and I were gonna sing that. And then they got up and sang it. And she's like, "What do we sing?" I'm like, "I don't know. We didn't end up singing, but maybe at Scarefest we'll sing the song."
What? I thought you were going to do
like the male version of Felissa. There's
science
no doubt
fiction
about
double feature.
Embodiment.
Well, I did science fiction double feature last year at Scarioke, and it was awesome. There were actually 2 kids who were there, sweet, sweet, sweet kids who were dressed as Eddie and Magenta. And I said, "Hey," I probably said, "Hey," because I didn't name that day. It was great. Like, I'm going to do science fiction double feature where you guys come up and back me up. And there's a video of it somewhere. I don't know if anybody's watching who was there, but there's a video of it, and it was phenomenal because they were there and they backed me up, like they sang back up, and it was so much fun. I will not top that.
Yeah. Well, if anybody has that, share it on the page.
Please, for the love of God.
I know it's out there. I've at least seen clips of it, so I know it's out there somewhere.
It's like Brian's ripping his shirt off. Like, it's getting, it's like a couple buttons have gone down. I've noticed it.
No, hey, listen.
No, put that shit back down.
He's at the beach, man.
No, he's all right. I was just like,
I
just all of a sudden looked down. I was like, see, like 2 buttons gone, 3 buttons
This
gone?
is not that kind of show, Squash Dick. Eric Solanas says, "I saw Pumpkinhead when I was 7 years old. It became the boogeyman in my childhood dreams, but I regret nothing." Thank you, Eric. I love seeing all the comments, you guys.
Yeah.
Especially
That's
that one right
Abby
there,
again.
Squash Dick.
That's Abby again with
Squash Dick.
Yeah.
I mean,
Squash Dick.
Eric's got some good
Coming
stories.
soon.
I hope so. Hope it is.
Terror in the Squash Patch.
Yeah.
Squash.
So, do you have any ambitions of writing a book of your own experiences, or
Well, I
anything
do
like
love
that?
writing. It's funny that you bring that up. When I do, I've always been a writer, but more of as an avocation and not a vocation.
Okay.
I write poetry a lot, especially when I'm out at the beach and I'm able to finally like be in my happy place and settle down. The writing will come. It's such a discipline, you know. And writers write, and it's a real discipline to write. And I've never had that writer's discipline. But I wrote plays. That's part of how I got my scholarship to Pepperdine. I wrote plays when I was, a teenager about, teen angst, and we're all really dark. And but maybe I will. I would probably, maybe my friend Stan will help me write a book. I think it would be interesting, and if I can, share stories that help people, especially that are interested in this career and what this career really is, and how you have a long, sustained life when you're a working actor. I mean, that point of view would interest me in writing.
Yeah, that would be really
perfect.
cool.
No
I
doubt.
mean, and I think a lot of people would appreciate a perspective like that. I mean,
Yeah.
how many, anxious would-be filmmakers, bought Lloyd Kaufman's book. You know what I mean?
True
And,
enough. Yeah. And what a great
it's,
book to buy. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, I mean,
You have to see it as a business. You have to understand the business. You can't take rejection personally. You have to constantly work on your craft, because you just get better and better and better. The more you work on it, you're never stagnant as a creative artist unless you stop doing it. You'll have to have other jobs at many different points in your life. But, if you work at Cook's Warehouse, it doesn't mean you're not an actor. An actor is someone who pursues the craft, period. And it's not about financial success. It does become at a certain point about sustaining yourself and making a living doing what you love to do. You strive for that and strive for that, but that can happen when you're 70 fucking years old. And I'm not even kidding. I've seen it happen with actors that I work with, who all their lives like really tried, and then suddenly they got older. There aren't as many older people. They're good at what they do. That's number one. And they just didn't go home. They stuck to it. And then in their 70s, they start working all the time. I've got a really good friend who was one of my acting teachers, Steve Coulter. He's in all the, he's in She-Hulk. He's in, he was the lawyer. He's her boss in She-Hulk. He's in all the Conjuring movies.
Mm-hmm.
He was series regular on The Walking Dead. He was the architect in Alexandria.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been a working actor his whole life and has worked steadily. He's got to be in his 60s now. In his 60s, like everything took off. He did The Conjuring. James Wan loved him. James Wan put him in every single sequel and all the spin-offs. He's in the Insidious movies. Like all this stuff started happening for him. And now in his 60s, he has become somewhat of a, I'll say celebrity, because I'm a big fan of his, but able to really, truly, truly live comfortably and well because of his craft. And he's done it for over 50 years to get there. And he just didn't go home, and the whole time he teaches, he's getting to be a better actor. He's learning how to be even better at his craft. And that is the artist journey. That's what we do.
Yeah.
So
We've talked to numerous people
Never
that
give up.
have done that.
Yeah.
Lynn Lowry, she's
Lynn.
notorious for it. I mean, she's
Yeah.
been doing Brooke Bundy we talked to, she was talking about all the stuff that she's done, but Lynn Lowry still going strong, still
She loves
still
it.
doing
She'll
it.
never stop.
She'll never stop. No, never. No.
Well, that's why, because you love it.
She loves
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of
But
days
for the right reasons.
For the right reasons. There are a lot of days I don't love the business. The business is hard.
Hmm.
And you will meet people in the business that will try to make you feel less than because they're trying to make themselves feel more powerful. But that's every business I've ever worked in, not just showbiz. I mean, there are assholes, and that's the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been so fortunate because I tend to get these projects where I'm working with people that are nice. They're friendly, like they love what they do, and they're supportive, and it's a supportive community. And you can find those people, you guys, and you will work for those people. But it's hard. Raising money for films is really difficult. It takes a long, long time. I have a lot of writers that come to me, and I try to help them as much as I can. And the first thing I tell them is, understand, I mean, aside from crowdfunding, which is great, it's how a lot of indie films get made. I'm a huge fan of it.
Yeah.
If you're looking for studio money, if you're looking for $500,000 to 1.2 million or something in that kind of sweet spot of the horror genre, it can take years. My friend Leanna, who is Nora in The Drunks, she's my Nora.
Mm-hmm.
She helped me write The Drunks and helped me produce The Drunks. She is a writer and has a beautiful screenplay, and I've been working with her and helping her. We're in year number 3, and we're about to sell the screenplay. Year number 3. And it took that long to build the relationship and to develop the relationship. So, you have to be in it for the long term. So your love of it is what, sustains you, blah, blah, blah. But it's true.
No, you're right on the money. I mean, again, me and Clint have talked to people that have shelved screenplays that have been there for 8, 9, 10 years
For sure.
that just now got made or just now got interest.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Yeah.
You nailed it for sure.
Who was I talking to the other night? Brad Sykes.
Yeah.
Did a movie 25 years ago that never got officially released. It had Linnea Quigley in it, and it never got officially released. It's finally getting released on Blu-ray.
I'm telling you, that's how it works. That's what people don't understand.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah. Yep. Got to nurture it, and you got to love it. That's beautiful.
what you
I love it.
Nicole, are you going to say, you want to say anything else?
I love you.
I love you too, Nicole. Can you guys see my view?
That is
Oh, fuck you, Brian. What are you doing? What is that? What is that
This is my
shit?
dad's house, but he's not here. He's
Jesus, I
traveling.
got my shit's closed because I don't want you to see the people that are robbing this fucking dude over here, or carjacking this person. Brian's like, "Look at
That's
the
where I
bitch."
am. That's my frame of mind. And I'm so glad to talk to you guys. And
Hey, I can tell you what. That's if that's your frame of mind, and you waited to talk to us this long, man, it's been worth it.
oh,
1,000% been worth
well,
it.
thank you so much. I appreciate you so much.
So
love you.
how hysterical were you in Dead Birds, being that you were the hysterical man?
Oh, man, okay, the hits keep
on coming.
So Dead Birds was great because I got to meet Henry Thomas, and he was sweet as he could be, and he let me take my picture with him, and he was very sweet. I got hired for Dead Birds because of Pumpkinhead, I think. The audition was, what was the line? String him up or something. String him up! Something stupid. It was what? So I got hired to play the role. I get down there. It was in Mississippi, I think, and nobody knows who I am. Nobody knows I'm coming or anything. And I get put in with the extras, the background folks. I get sent to makeup. This is the first thing. I get sent to makeup. And I'm in the makeup chair, and the makeup artist goes, "Oh my God, why are they sending me all these clean shaven people? This is the 1800s in the South. Oh my God." So he freaks out, and then he puts his beard on me, this huge, heavy beard, and messes my dirt in my hair and puts a hat on me. And I look like, a Mississippi backwoods farmer in the anyway. So I go to set, and I do my scene and everything, but they ended up putting me anyway. At one point, I had not done a movie in a while. I had a rock and roll band for a long time, and my focus was music for a long time. We played the Olympics here in Atlanta, and we had we did pretty well here. But I did that movie, and they hired me because of, oh, look, Canadian boy, right?
He's got it. He's got it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a good movie. Anyway, but when I did Pumpkinhead, I took pictures. I have a great photo album. And the next show I come to, I'll bring the album. It's actually my personal photographs from the set. You really shouldn't be doing that. Now, Stan didn't mind. But the etiquette for an actor on set is you don't really take pictures, especially of the stars. And, you got to be respectful. Well, I had this little disposable camera. And I was taking pictures on the set of Dead Birds. I'm like, "Hey, I'm doing a movie again, Mom. Look at me," right? And the script supervisor came up to me. She's like, "You need to put that down and go back over there with the extras." I'm like, "I'm not an extra. I'm a featured player. I'm Brian. You guys hired me to play hysterical man."
Which I love how that's what it's credited as.
Yeah, that's it, babe. Oh, I also did a movie with, I'm a working actor, guys. I schlep it. I did a movie with Jim Caviezel about Bobby Jones. Do you guys know about this one? Aha!
Maybe you got
Sounds
me.
familiar.
But
Gotcha.
Yeah, it sounds familiar. What's it called?
It's called Stroke of Genius,
Okay.
which is also a softcore porn from Paramount Skinemax.
No shit.
And-
That sounded like that's right where we're going.
No, it's the Bobby Jones story, and he plays Bobby Jones, and I play like hysterical fan. And I come up to him in the Georgian Ballroom. It's supposed to be in the 1920s or 30s, and it was great because I got to meet Malcolm McDowell. I'm not going to comment on that though. And I got to work with James, and I just come up to him like, "Yeah, please sign my shirt, Bobby. Please sign my shirt." Anyway, why don't we get on that? Oh, but I've done lots of stuff like that. I will say there's one movie I'd love for you guys to see, but it's not a genre movie. It's called Permanent with Patricia Arquette and Rainn Wilson. Magnolia Pictures. It's streaming. I did it about a year and a half, 2 years ago, and it's out now. And it's a comedy. It's a family comedy. So it's like the first movie my nephew Milo could watch with my sister because he's like 7. And I'm only in like the first 15 minutes, but it's kind of a pivotal role. And Colette actually let me improvise a lot. And I'd love for you guys to see it because it really plays into my sketch comedy background. So, and I think you'll enjoy it. But it's basically about this little girl who is about to start high school in a brand new school. And the day before she starts high school, she gets like the worst haircut of her life at my beauty salon. She gets a permanent. You know what I'm saying? So she has to go to school and like has this horrible haircut. And it's very cute and very funny, and I'm really proud of the work that I did in that, and that was a great experience. We filmed that in Richmond, Virginia, which is an incredible town. Anyway,
3 hours away from me.
I'm trying to preempt any questions you have about obscure things.
Is that what you're trying to do?
No, that's all right.
Bring it on. I love it. You guys, I really appreciate it. I mean, it is humbling that you guys did that research and know.
We have to.
Yeah.
Now I feel like I'm keeping you from throwing some drink backs and enjoying a nice sunset. You're at the beach, man.
Yeah, man.
Well, I am. Thank you, guys. And I really appreciate you guys' patience, your advocacy, your friendship. I can't wait to see you guys again.
Oh, it's been worth it, man. I mean, like I said, it's I knew as soon as it got delayed, I was like, all it's going to do is just make it better, and it kept getting delayed. I'm like, fuck it. It's going to be amazing when we get on here. And it's been nothing short of it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Well, we got to, if we are going to end it.
Doesn't he want to talk to us?
We got to end it with the drunks. We got to end it with the drunks.
Oh,
yes. We got to. Son of a bitch. This is hilarious. This is just great. This is great comedy.
I found what they were calling episode 1 this afternoon. It was like 7 minutes long, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" I sent it to everybody. So
thank you. Please spread the word. I produced that and wrote that with my friend Leanna Adams a couple of years ago, and it went really high up the charts on Funny or Die. And now you can find it if you go to YouTube and look for Extra Medium. Those were the filmmakers, and I think you can find it there. But there's 4 episodes. You ask the questions that you want to ask.
No, I just want to tell you my favorite part.
Which one?
After you got shot and you're laying on the floor.
Yeah.
You're like, one more drink before I meet Jesus.
Jesus. That's exactly what I'm going to say.
Meet Jesus.
Then you went back to suffering. Oh
God.
I'm all right, Dad.
Thank you, Jesus.
It went straight through my liver.
God,
it never had a chance.
It never had a chance.
Never had a chance.
That's just great.
Thank you, guys, and thanks for spreading the word about that. I love it when people find that, and it's rare, that people mention that. So it's out there. We actually shot 4 episodes. There's Meet the Drunks, Sunday Go to Meetin', which is when they show up in an AA meeting. Bound Fury, which is the first time you see them actually time travel in the portal, which is super cool. And then Play It Again, Dead Man. That's the 4th episode. And they're all super fun. We almost got a sponsorship for it. And this was a case where we should have just kept going with it. And people ask us all the time to keep going. And Leanna and I talk about reviving it and getting like a liquor sponsor. We had a local vodka distillery that was going to put like $35,000 into like a full, season. They're little short episodes, which is enough to pay your crew and do it on a side contract. It's plenty for a webisode. And then they lost funding and blah, blah, blah. And we just never picked up the ball because we just started doing different stuff. But it's out there. It lives. That's like all the art you create. It's always there. That's what, I had a lot of fun doing it. That started out as a sketch. I had a sketch comedy theater for about 15 years, and we had a sketch called The Drunks. And it was Nick Charles and Nora, from the Thin Man, kind of anachronistically appearing in the modern day. And it was a big hit. And one night after the show, a director came up to us, Tommy, and he said, "I want to film this." And we did. And we made 4 of them. So they're all out there to see. So I'm glad that you like them because I'm very proud of those. And that was really fun to play those, play that.
Oh, I love the end of the first one.
I'm definitely going to look for the rest.
What she said, toots. He's like, I don't like them. It's just like the longest pause ever. But she said toots.
Oh, God. That was a fun shoot. And that's actually my partner who plays Babyface Bugsy Buchanan, the bad guy. Say goodnight, Buchanan. Good night, Buchanan. Yeah, that's Jeffrey.
Fantastic. Good night, Buchanan.
And Jeffrey appears again in the 4th episode as the piano player. Jeffrey is actually an incredible concert pianist. And I said pianist.
Right.
And he's the piano player in Play It Again, Dead Man as well. So
That's
What did
awesome.
everybody else hear? Sorry, I heard penis. Sorry. Shit.
God,
Sorry.
I gotta clean up that IMDb, man.
You do, man. I'm God.
Yeah.
That's a thing. I mean, it's really like I had never thought about that kind of thing, but I have to be very careful with my social media. I have to be very careful about I just can't believe IMDb gets away with that because anybody can go to that site.
Well, Clint, who was the one person that we talked to? They were on IMDb and it wasn't even them.
Oh, that was Danny Hassel. I screwed
Yeah.
up.
Mhm.
There was something on his IMDb that wasn't even his, but it linked onto his name.
Yeah.
Because it was a German film. So I guess there's hassles over there in,
Yeah.
Germany. So
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely Hassels in Germany.
yeah, exactly.
Because
So,
Clint asked him about it and it was
and he's like, that's not even mine.
that's when the interview went down.
I was like, oh shit.
We both went, oh shit. This is not going to end well now.
But we made a joke out of it. It was all good.
It was good. But he asked, and then it just went silent for like 10 seconds. Like, oh shit! I was like, what are we doing here?
No, he went on a little tirade about IMDb and what he doesn't like about it, and then he's like, I thought you were going to mention something cool like this documentary I did up in Canada, and I was like, that's totally what it was.
Well,
Please
if
tell me about
I
it.
would have known about it, I would have said something. Damn it!
Speaking of documentary, I have to tell you guys. So I have a bunch of shows coming up this year. I've been talking to Ryan and Peter's talking. I hope to get back to New Jersey soon. I really love that show or something in that area like Monster Mania or whatever those shows. But I have this Emmy-winning documentary film crew that is following me to shows this year. They went to FrankenCon. Mary Grace Hill is the executive producer, won multiple Emmys, and is a huge horror fan. And she's been asking me, and she's a good friend too, has been asking me to do this forever. And I'm like, and I'm finally like, okay. And they came to FrankenCon. That was their first show. They're going to go to Scarefest, maybe Atomic Monster, maybe TerrorCon because Lance is going to be there in September. And they're documenting. Listen, Nicole. Listen. They're documenting the HorrorCon circuit because it's not been done. Yeah, maybe it had, but not. And they got to interview Tom Matthews and Felissa, CJ. They talked to a lot of the fans. They're showing the vendors. They're highlighting the artwork, the vendors' artwork, and like the podcasters that are there. Like they're really into it because they're big horror fans, and they did a terrific job. So if you get out to one of my shows here this year, you might end up in the documentary.
Fantastic.
I think that's very cool.
That's amazing. That's fantastic.
That's another reason to go.
It is truly,
if I needed another reason,
word
to go.
out there.
Yeah.
Right,
Get your 15 minutes, folks. Get
Get your 15 minutes. Yeah.
We're only getting 10. Shit, what are you?
I got
15
20.
minutes?
I'm happy with that.
But look who you are. We'll be like if we get 5 in a bag of chips.
Lord have mercy. I'm lucky if I get 5 in a bag of chips.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
I am lucky if I get 5 in a bag of chips.
Bullshit.
That's gonna be my new contract in my rider. I must have 5 in a bag of chips.
Yep.
Oh boy.
And I choose the brand.
And I choose the brand.
Damn it.
Utz, damn it.
Pringles bullshit.
Yeah, fucking Utz.
Salted on one side.
What the fuck? Yeah. I'm just gonna lick one side of it and then throw it away. Oh wait.
People lick their Pringles.
Were we still talking about the same thing? Oh, fuck.
Yikes.
Anyway, that's a good way to end it.
That's a
Licking
good way to end
Pringles.
it.
Licking Pringles.
Lick your Pringles on the right side, guys. If you're going to eat Pringles, salt side down.
Yeah, don't lick your Pringles upside down. That's
Anything
how weird nights happen.
I am now reserving comment because.
Anything else you want to plug that we didn't get around to?
No, I think I plugged quite a bit tonight, didn't I? I mean, my new book is coming out. My documentary is coming out.
Exactly.
Thank you guys for mentioning stuff and for letting me talk about stuff that people can go find. I really appreciate that. And
that's what we're here for, man. Again,
thank you guys.
We love to put you guys on the soapbox and let you guys talk. That's what we do, and try to keep it to a minimum a little bit so you guys can talk.
We talked a long time too, but the pine just times.
That's it. Yeah,
the pine just times, Nicole.
What you said.
Pine times. Before you know it, it's all over.
Ryan loves listening to you. Always a hoot listening to you, Brian. Keep being awesome.
Thank you, Ryan.
That's for
I can't wait to see you in Montreal.
Absolutely. So, yeah, man, I don't really even know what else to say, man. Like, I'm just humbled by you being here. And it's been nothing short of spectacular. And just keep doing what you're doing, man. Again, people love coming to see you. Obviously, we definitely do. We love what you got coming out. So just keep doing what you're doing, man.
Thanks,
I'm looking
Tom.
forward to the Slasher Nurse.
Me too.
Absolutely.
I'm invested
I'm
now.
excited about that.
Definitely.
I'm really excited about both of those movies. Coffin.
Oh,
too.
Mike, one of our other regulars. This is the greatest interview ever.
Oh,
You need to have Brian on every week.
anytime, guys.
Then I'd have to
Thank you,
pay him.
Michael. Nah,
A
you don't
big
have to
bag
pay
of
me for
chips.
this.
I'll
You
send
do-
you a box
Yeah,
of
we got
chips.
a
Five and a bag of chips.
We got it. We got it.
Yeah.
Brian,
Yeah.
enjoy yourself, brother, at the beach.
Thank you, guys.
I can't wait to talk to you again. Can't wait to see you.
It's anytime. Thank you
All
guys
right.
for
We
having
love you,
me.
man.
Love you guys.
Thank you so
Bye,
much.
Nicole. See
Bye,
you guys soon.
bye.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yay.
Thank you, guys. I fucked that up in the very beginning. I
What are you
apologize.
talking
What
about?
are you talking about? Anyway, hey, we're ending broadcast, guys. We hope you enjoyed it. Hope we got your guys' comments. Ryan was obviously the star of this one, so and Eric. But thank you, all you guys for tuning in, Mike and Eric and Ryan, Abby, everybody that I can see, Claire. We definitely had a blast with that one. And like Brian said, go check out the things we talked about. Just don't go watch Pumpkinhead and Society and Silent Night, Deadly Night 5. Go watch his other stuff. Maybe not Vicious.
What? No,
I'm
it's
kidding.
fine. Watch
Yeah, it's good.
Vicious.
It's good. Just
don't
watch it
let
with
the
your eyes
creature
closed and
take
listen.
you out of the moment.
Yeah, don't let the Venus flytrap take you out. But definitely watch the shorts he was talking about. The Drunks, Clint showed it to me earlier. Jesus, it's fucking hilarious. It is great. And then the short that he had, The Productive Lie. I mean, good Lord. But thank you guys for tuning in. Nicole, as our special guest, thank you for hanging on with us. I know you're a huge Brian fan, so
I am.
we at least wanted to have you on here so you could ask some things, talk some things, and we hope you had a good old time.
Of course.
All right. Well,
Always.
to all those out there in La La Land, Mike apparently is going to go watch Pumpkinhead with a bowl of
Jesus
Jello.
Christ.
Naked.
Bag
I
of
wish I
chips,
would have got
Mike.
that comment
Bag of
before
chips.
Brian
Five
went
and a
off.
bag of chips.
Pringles and lick one side.
Yeah, right. Yeah, 5 minutes in a bag of chips, you'll be asleep. Well, we love you guys, and we will talk to you guys later. Let's see, we got, just to give you a heads up, we got Kelsey Living Good tomorrow night. Mischief the Clown. Oh boy, that ought to be a good one. So y'all tune in. Love you guys. Mwah.
All right.